So, Anthony, how did you get involved in the Bravo Hackathon and what drove you to combine Akash and Secret as a solution?
So my military background's a lot of tech. I enjoyed giving you the full MOS title, which was that huge thing of Unmanned Aerial Surveillance, Marine Air Ground Task Force, Electronic Warfare Officer. But I was also a Link 16 unit manager, TAD with the NSA. Spent a lot of time at Platform One, which is the software development integration arm for the DoD. And the Marine Corps is a pretty small community. It's the smallest branch in the military, and Marine Corps tech is very small. It's just not the focus of the specialized littoral combat force. So I had already established a bunch of connections with people familiar with this event and people who were helping to set up this event. Stuart Wagner is also a big crypto guy himself, the guy who set up the hackathon, and his wife works at Andreessen Horowitz. So we were already sort of familiar with him. The MAR admin dropped, and from there we were just off to the races. MAR admin being like when the Marine Corps puts out an official statement about something that's going on or guidance passing to all Marines. So we chose Secret and Akash for a few different reasons. When you're given 100,000 gigabytes of unformatted classified data, most people are going to make a machine learning tool to try and make sense of it and build an application to visualize this data and predict data so you can take action in the future. And that's perfectly fine, but we didn't see the government as doing that effectively for new data being presented. Like that was a retroactive application to build. So we wanted to address some of the root causes of the unused data. So that way in the future, it wasn't analyzation. In the future, it was we don't have troves of classified data that people won't be allowed to touch for a bunch of years, and then you hold a hackathon to do something about it. We do have to be like a little bit vague about the exact way we implemented the program, but essentially what the application does is it compresses data, and it's a way to send, distribute, and then destroy cryptographic keys, which are used for things like radio systems, ballistic missile systems, the different logins to computer systems, stuff that runs the actual drones themselves. So you have to plug in a key to actually have the drone go places and do things for specific missions, and they're good for specific time periods. So that's what the application does. And Secret was really the perfect choice and one of the only choices for transferring information that need to be private while offloading infrastructure requirements to a third party. It's also, we know how to program in CosmWasm, so it's a fun use case for that. And then Akash is a great solution for using government systems to access the application through a proxy address, which is your wallet address, without needing to build any new product. So you get the benefit of the cryptographic parts of the application being exported to Secret's infrastructure, and then the actual access of these different programs you can use with your own systems if you're the government, but sort of protect your identity quite a bit. And we see a lot of good things in the future with Secret and Akash. Specifically, one of the things Akash has talked about for a while is homomorphic encryption, allowing providers to host different deployments. And what homomorphic encryption is, it allows you to do compute on things without actually needing to see the information itself. You can do work on encrypted data, which would mean like providers can touch your deployments. And with Secret 2.0, homomorphic encryption is coming. So when that does drop, we at Moultrie plan to make some contracts to have Akash deployments leverage the homomorphic encryption of Secret Network. And then that way it's going to offload a lot of the technical requirements for the Akash team. I don't know if that's going to be something Akash is also going to do, but whenever Secret launches it, I think that's going to be a great partnership for Secret and Akash.
Awesome. Anthony, your participation in the hackathon was full of accomplishments. Could you share some of those, like, for example, what awards were won? And if you don't mind, could you share with the Akash community some of the systems and deployed environments that are running on Akash still as a result of the hackathon? You've given us a little bit of a taste of some of this, but could you just elaborate a little bit more?
So the app won first place for most tactically relevant for maintenance data, and second place for most tactically relevant for cyber operations. There's 3 categories related to data. So we got first in one, placed second in the other, and the third one had nothing to do with the application we were building. So it's a good showing for us. We were approached afterwards by the A29 Tech Innovation Office. Like the denominations for military departments are a bit weird, but in the Air Combat Command for the Air Force, like A29, that's going to be the tech side for that. So it's kind of the office when you're presenting to the Air Force. They want us to continue development on the product. And as far as if they're actively running the application, I have no idea what they're doing with it right now, but we are in the process of negotiating the way Moultrie can move this over to the NSA. There's a full intent to move it to the NSA to make it operational. That's going to come with a lot of things. I mean, there's strict ethics laws in the government. And so like we run a validator on Akash. We own a lot of Akash. So all those details are going to need to be worked out before this thing goes live. And yeah, there's just a lot of details to figure out, but there is progress being made at the speed of the government to make this product operational. However, the demonstrative use case was enough to convince the Marine Air Wing, 2nd Marine Air Wing, which our Marine Corps unit was a part of when I was active duty, which was very recently, to begin moving over acquired sites and information to Akash. So we submitted a bunch of documentation about how Akash works, and we put up the first website, DoD website, running on Akash, and the government requires each military unit to have public access, like for the unit itself, to various information. And that's usually held on the isolated computer network at the unit. But we made a website where it's a client-side encryption, so it's the encrypted file is what's actually stored on the server for Akash, and it's not decrypted over the server, it's decrypted on the client side, and now the Marines can get access to all that information. So that website's running Akash. Ma has intent to move other sites over to Akash. And once again, the big selling point of that is it's not on AWS anymore. It's not going to be on Azure. It's going to be on the military's own systems. We'll be running it ourselves. We'll essentially be paying ourselves to run it. And the specific information about that provider will be able to be concealed through the wallet address.